Welcome to All in Sports with the Raider View. I'm Anthony.
I'm RJ.
I'm PJ.
I'm William.
And today we're going to be looking at starting off with the NBA trade deadline. First, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler possibly getting traded, most likely getting traded. But to really, I just want to think about what you guys think about. What team would he be going to?
Well, obviously, he's been on many teams so far throughout his career, and he hasn't won with either one, so it's kind of hard depending on where he's going to go. Most likely the Suns, because they're trying to chase after their first championship.
I do think that he's going to get traded because of his last few years and how the team wasn't very successful, although they did go to the finals. And as of his recent suspensions, that shows that he doesn't want to be there anymore.
I think he's gonna end up going to the Phoenix Suns. We've seen him wear his basketball shoes in the Suns colors, and he's said that wants to be one of his landing spots. We know he doesn't want to go to Memphis, so we'll just see where he ends up landing from there.
Yeah, for me personally, I believe that he's probably going to go to the Suns if they can get that deal worked out with Bradley Beal, which I think would be possibly challenging. I don't know what else team. He'd probably go to definitely a contender at this point in his career, but I don't really know who would trade for him. Like, it's kind of a hard thing gambling on him. He's a really good player in the playoffs, but you don't know how he can sustain that, especially being at his age. Okay, and next, let's go on to the, what do you guys want to do? Nuggets or Pelicans? What do you guys want to talk about?
I said we talk about the Nuggets. Obviously, it's either between Jamal Murray and MPJ of who's going to get traded. Most likely, I would think MPJ because obviously, like, he's on and off. He's pretty somewhat injured most of the time, and it's kind of easy to trade him than a guy who just got a max contract for the Nuggets.
Being a Nuggets fan, I do see how everyone has their own opinion about Jamal Murray and Michael Porter Jr., but I personally think Michael Porter Jr., because his injuries make him very inconsistent, and he's not going to perform when he's injured.
I definitely could see him both. I could see either way, but I definitely think Michael Porter Jr. will end up getting traded. He's not a very consistent guy for them. He'll have one game and then a game where he scores 4. But at the same token, Jamal Murray's kind of the same thing. He can score 40 one night and the next night score 12. So I think it'll just be down to what other teams are willing to offer for either of those guys.
Yeah, so I think MPJ would stay. I think he's just such a good shooter. He's so much upside, a little bit younger than Jamal Murray. So I think Jamal Murray would be the one getting traded, even though what Ricky said he does have the max contract. But I feel like he could get traded to a team like maybe the Kings, maybe like a swap deal for De'Aaron Fox, or maybe a different type of point guard, because we know how good he can be in the playoffs and other stuff like that, being a clutch player. But this year he just really hasn't performed. And, as the Nuggets have been trying to chase a championship, he really has to go.
After the Nuggets, after the championship run, after being trashed for a few years, I see why many people think Jamal Murray can be traded. I think that his injury really did affect the way his play and his potential after.
Yeah, I would agree with Anthony. Like, they could trade him to the Kings for De'Aaron Fox, but I feel like then both of them would go instead of just one of them because De'Aaron Fox is a really good shooter and a really good player. And to compare them to Jamal Murray and MPJ alone is not really like subpar. Like, they're not as the same level as him.
Okay, and do you guys? I mean, we already kind of talked about the Kings. Unless you guys want to talk about the Bulls. Anybody talk about that? No. So I'll just do my idea real quick about the Bulls. I think they have to get rid of them. Like, the Bulls, their experiments have not been working with these old players, kind of like DeMar DeRozan. But with Zach LaVine and Nikola Vucevic, they got to get rid of them. They have big contracts, but I still think they could get rid of them pretty easily at the end of the day. So, yeah, I think the Bulls have to get rid of them. Maybe get a little younger, maybe just get a little better, try to make a playoff run, maybe get some picks, go for the future. I don't really know, but I feel like they have to get rid of them, in my opinion.
Oh, so I would say they'd probably keep Lonzo Ball and then get rid of everyone else because Lonzo Ball is pretty young, and they could build a team around him with some other great stars instead of getting rid of everyone, and then they have to restart their whole roster.
No, you can talk.
All right, I feel like they have to go for a guard. I feel like they need to start guard, but I feel like they need a. I feel like every team has a really good guard, and I feel like they need to end up making a move at that guard position.
So let's take a little break. And to the NFL playoffs, which we are now, the championships are done. I want to say I was right. The Eagles won. Everybody want to say the Commanders are winning. I told you the Eagles are too good. But I will not, in fact, be watching that Super Bowl. You know why? Because I don't care. I'll watch the halftime show, Kendrick Lamar. But I'm not watching that Super Bowl. I don't want to see the Chiefs. I hate the Chiefs, At the end of the day, that's just how it is.
Loki, I think the Chiefs and Eagles are actually both and I don't think anyone's going to really watch them. And even the halftime show, like Kendrick Lamar is kind of overrated. Like I don't think anyone's gonna watch them for that, and this is gonna be like the lowest Super Bowl of all time, probably.
I don't really have any hot takes about the Super Bowl because I really don't care because it's a rematch. But I will predict that the Eagles will win, and the Chiefs will be falling off.
All right, so I think all y'all are making crazy statements. The fact that it's going to be the least watched Super Bowl, that's crazy. I believe that this will be a highly anticipated Super Bowl, especially with the Eagles transferring their whole offense. Really, I mean, they went from a pass team to a run team now. The Kansas City has a completely different team almost than they had that year when they played them. So there will definitely be some different positions there. But I definitely see Mahomes and the Chiefs doing what they do normally and winning the Super Bowl.
Yeah, so I don't know. I really just gotta talk about what the hell Ricky said. What are you talking about? Least watch Super Bowl. Look, I don't know. I know most people don't want to see a rematch, but still, they are still two good teams. Obviously, I think the Eagles will come up on top unless some dabbling with the refs. Because I just think the Eagles have such a better team than the Chiefs. Even though they have such a good record, they really haven't performed up to their standards and the rest of the league's top team standards this year.
The Chiefs were probably gonna end up winning. The Eagles, they don't really have a chance against Kermit the Frog, so.
I think you're personally completely wrong. I think you're going to see a lot of people watching the Super Bowl because there's a lot of young guys in the Super Bowl. There's a lot of good rookies in the Super Bowl. But go back to the Eagles and Commanders game. In my opinion, I think that first half was a really good game. I mean, Washington's going out there with basically a whole team of rookies, a couple vets. I think Jaden Daniels really proved who he was and how he wants to come these next couple of years.
Well, yeah, that first half of the Eagles-Commanders game, like, obviously going to be kind of close. Like, they're just starting out. They're just showing what they got. But either way, the Eagles won by, what, like 20? It doesn't make sense. And then also, you're just a Chiefs glazer, so of course you would want to watch that.
I mean, you could be a Chiefs fan and want to see the other team win. I think it's going to be a good Super Bowl no matter what. And I don't see where we're coming from where it's going to be the least watched Super Bowl. I definitely think there's going to be a lot of fans watching that Super Bowl, even for the halftime show. Kendrick Lamar is Kendrick Lamar. He's won Grammys. That's Kendrick Lamar. He's not an artist that is just doing it to do it. He's a really good artist, and I think the halftime show will be interesting, but I think the game will be more interesting than the halftime show.
Okay, and that's it for the NFL playoffs. Let's jump to the mock draft. PJ, let's have you start us off.
All right, my mock draft. First pick, I have Travis Hunter. I know that's a controversial pick, but I believe that the Titans are going to focus on a quarterback later in the draft. With all of the quarterbacks falling to like the second round and below, they're going to have another pick to choose a quarterback. I believe the Browns are going to take Cam Ward. It's really kind of self-explanatory. The Giants are going to take Shedeur. With his last game wearing New York Giants themed cleats, it shows where he wants to go. The Patriots, I don't really know what they need. I feel like they just need a wide receiver to help Drake May, and they also need offensive linemen to help hit Drake May again. And then Jaguars, I have Abdul Carter from Penn State. They don't really need that much. It's just mainly their coaching staff that they need to make a refresh.
Well, personally, obviously Travis Hunter not going first. Like, yeah, he's a really, really good player. He could play either wide receiver or cornerback, but like teams need quarterbacks. They don't need defense or offensive players that could catch the ball or guard and defend.
To completely disagree with what he said, teams do need wide receivers and corners. A quarterback's not just one position. But I don't think we'll see Travis Hunter go one just because statistically it's been a norm to draft a quarterback your first pick. I definitely think it's a norm though to have a quarterback go. But I don't think we'll see Travis Hunter fall out of that top 3. I think we can see one of these quarterbacks dropping down to 4 and Travis Hunter being the 3rd pick. Even though everyone's saying he's going to the Patriots, I think there's some wiggle room for him.
Yeah, so basically, I believe that, I wouldn't disagree with Ricky, too. That was kind of shocking. Especially, like, as a rookie, quarterbacks aren't always the best. So, like, a offensive lineman could be one of the best picks a team can make in the top. Like, I personally believe that Will Campbell will go straight to the Patriots at 4. I think Travis Hunter's going 1. I don't know about the top 2. That could be either or, Both are quarterbacks. Both I know they're going to go high. So that's that. And then, I don't know, 5th, probably Abdul Carter. Maybe a different skilled position, but that's what I really think.
Personally, I think Cam's got to be number one.
So I'm gonna add on to what Will said. He kind of mentioned that like quarterback isn't the only position, and I thought when he said that like quarterback isn't the only player that's gonna win the game. It takes a whole team effort in other positions.
But I'd like to say I don't like neither of the quarterbacks necessarily. I mean, as much as everyone likes Shedeur because he came to Colorado, he did what he did. They're both decent quarterbacks. They both were final runners for the Heisman. I don't like. I mean, Cam Ward. In my opinion, he's too nonchalant. We see a lot of moments where he's not moving around, and especially if he goes to one of these lower teams that doesn't have offensive alignment, you won't be able to see that. I mean, you're gonna have to move, and you won't be able to just be that stand-up guy that's just standing there. And with Shedeur, I think he'll be I think what will get him what his pick is his name.
Well, yeah. So for me, I feel like you said Cameron Woods nonchalant. I feel like I could see that. I also see that he's just a big play guy. Like he doesn't really have the skills that you need as an NFL quarterback as Shedeur Sanders has right now. His big play potential might be a lot higher, and like later in his career, he might do a lot better. But at the end of the day, I feel that Shedeur Sanders is more NFL ready and will be ready for the NFL, especially on a bad team.
To be honest, I don't think any team or any one of those players are really ready, but it's just depending on who's, I guess, worse than the other guy.
Yeah, so you're basically just saying like whoever's less bad.
What was I gonna say? Hold up. Yeah, I definitely see. I think it's crazy to see that. In my opinion, that a lot of people think that these quarterbacks are very underdeveloped, with there being the new rule of how long you can stay in college. We see a lot of guys being in college for so much longer than they used to be, and you still see a whole bunch of guys come out underdeveloped. So I feel like that just has a name for yourself. But I'm not necessarily saying they're bad, because that's a crazy statement, as they were the Heisman finalists. But I definitely see potential in either of the guys, but I also see very downside. I definitely see them could be a 2 to 3 year fallout guy.
And that's it for this segment. Let's get ready for the next one. And let's go for Colorado high school basketball. Let's start with William.
I'd like to bring up 2 big things. One, Vista Hate Week, big a Bison K, big hunting season. That's tomorrow night. Rangeview plays Vista. I think it'll be a not interesting game. I definitely think Rangeview comes out on top no matter what. And to be honest, there's a lot of hype surrounding this game, with it being one of the only league games at that time too. So there's definitely going to be a lot of people there, and it'll be very interesting. But Vista Peak's just very undersized for Rangeview, and it's just simple as that. I mean, we haven't seen Vista Peak be who they used to be since they moved up. They've been on a landslide, to say. They haven't really been doing as much as they used to be.
I agree with Will, and Bighorns down. But at the same time, it's like obviously Rangeview's gonna come on top. There's no like competing. Like Vista, once they moved up, like you said, like they haven't really competed as how they competed last year when they were down.
This is gonna be a big game for Rangeview versus Vista. Rangeview's obviously gonna come out on top because Vista Vista who, and like it's gonna be a very intense game.
And now let's jump to back to Will for the top 10 in Colorado high school basketball. 6A.
Yeah, I'd like to talk about a little bit about each team and mention the top 10, and then a team that I think that's been moving up a decent amount that we haven't heard of. This is Per Chas and now Max Prep. We don't like Max Preps. We got Rangeview 1, Rasta Valley 2, Eagle 3, Shap 4, Arapahoe 5, Regis 6, Horizon 7, Ballard 8, Thunder Ridge 9, and then Fairview 10. And then for my one mention that I'd like to shout out, their top 20 is Northfield. They're 13th right now, and in my opinion, they've been making big moves. We've seen them. I mean, Rangeview played them. I didn't think they were a part up to Rangeview, but I definitely see them. I mean, they're probably going to be a top 20 finisher. I'd like for you guys to comment on any of those teams that I've mentioned.
Well, yeah, to be honest, I agree with most of the teams besides like Northfield. Like they've played Rangeview, and they showed that they can't really compete with the highest team in the league, and that just shows like they're gonna compete with lower teams. At the end of the day, they're probably going to drop back down.
I feel like top 10 is going to shift around just a bit. I mean, I feel like Rangeview is going to stay towards the top between the 1 and 3 range. And like other teams, once we see further in the season, we'll see if they're going to move spaces.
And also, did you mention South in that list?
No, South is out of the top 10. They're 15th, right behind Mount Vista, Northfield, Broomfield, and Fruita. But I would like to. If you want to comment back on South, you can.
Yeah, so I was gonna say when you added them to the list, how they're 15th. I think they're also gonna drop down lower, even if they played Northfield, if they have played Northfield yet. I think Northfield's gonna come on top of that game because you have South players and South fans leaving in the third quarter, and it just shows like they're not ready to compete at the highest.
One team, there's a couple teams that I'd like to mention that I could see them. I know you guys are saying you don't see a lot of movement. In my opinion, I see a decent amount of movement, not necessarily falling out of playoffs, but moving around rankings wise. I definitely see Arapahoe falling a decent amount. I think right now they're at a point where they've been winning these games, but they're also starting league. In my opinion, their league isn't the best, but I mean they play Overland. They play Overland. They play Overland this week, and I definitely see that being an L for them. And they play Grandview, Smoky, Cherry Creek, and Eagle Crest. I definitely see them losing 3 out of 5 of those games, and I could definitely see that happening a lot, and I see that dropping them a lot. If any of you guys want to comment on Arapahoe?
Yeah, I could agree with that because their league is actually their league games are pretty kind of tough. Like they play Cherry Creek and Eagle Crest, which are both top teams in the league, and I think they're both going to lose to those games.
Yeah, I agree with RJ. After this game, we'll see where they move.
I definitely like to mention one thing about Cherry Creek and being in their league. Cherry Creek's not top 20, if I remember right. I mean, Cherry Creek, yeah, they have that big name around all of their other sports, but basketball necessarily, they're not doing it. So, in my opinion, that's another easy dub for Arapahoe. But I think once you look at that, you look at our league and who we have to play with. A lot of them, a decent amount of them, a decent amount of Rangview's league is falling in that top 25, top 30. So, I mean, you get those wins over those teams, and it's going to move you up higher. I mean, Rangeview's 1 right now, but I definitely see them securing that spot, especially with Rasta Valley's league not being that good.
I could agree with you on that because, Cherry Creek, they're big in pretty much every single sport at their high school, except for really basketball. But at the same time, it's depends on if it's a home game or not. If they're on the road, they're most likely going to lose, but home game, it might be a little bit back and forth.
Yeah, I agree with RJ. If they're at home, they have a home court advantage, and their fans will help them support and try to support.
Yeah, I definitely see to kind of disconnect, but keep talking about what you guys are talking about. I definitely see a lot of movement happening in this top 20, top 25, especially with CT playing Smoky on the 29th. That's going to be a big game, especially with it being a league game and Cherry Creek Trail being 21 and Smoky being 17. I could see some movement there. South, I still think, in my opinion, South is overranked. I don't think they should be 15. They play GW the 29th, which is on a Wednesday, which I think GW can get I think they can get a hold of South. I think South isn't who they are, and I don't think they should be that ranked high. And I definitely see Northfield moving up and a couple other teams dropping. I definitely see some movement, but I don't see a lot of these teams falling out of playoff runs.
I could agree with that. The GW and South game, because South, they showed that they're not ready to actually play. They leave during the third quarter and they quit right away. So it depends on how far GW is actually going to be. Plus, when GW played Rangeview, they went to double overtime. So that shows they could compete with the top team in the state. And if they play South, I feel like that's going to be pretty much different. They're going to just come on top.
I would like to mention for that GW game against Rangeview, in my opinion, it should not have been that close. I mean, yeah, it was, so we can't change the past. But there was a lot of errors on our end that led GW to double overtime, and there was a lot of iffy calls from the same ref that we've had since I don't know when. Who's keep making iffy calls, but it's whatever. We strive through it and we keep pulling out these wins. GW, it was simple that they had 2 guys that were big name, and they just glazed them the whole time, and you know who I'm talking about, and they just consistently go for them. And once you stop two of those guys, it simply just gets stopped. And then to transfer on to East, we blew out East. I mean, it was 83-67. East couldn't hang with us, and we seen that pretty much game. And there were some errors there, but we definitely seen some cleaning up. And I think once we clean up a little bit more, that you'll see a lot of you'll see Rangeview get up higher. And then to talk about, I want you guys I want to talk about a couple other teams that are surprising, and not necessarily surprising, but in the top 25 that I think we'll see some movement from. I definitely see some movement from Legacy, Legend, and Loveland. Yeah, they're winning their games. They're over 500, but I still think it's kind of I still think once you meet one of these top 10 teams, you're gonna fall. Horizon, I mean, I haven't been looking much at Horizon, but they're doing their thing over there. But I don't think they're where they're at, who they should be. The one team that they did play that was pretty decent was Regis, and they got a loss. These other teams that they're playing are just teams that are good in other sports, not necessarily basketball. So we're seeing a lot of like you're winning your games, but to lower teams.
Well, thank you guys for talking about high school basketball topic I cannot talk in, and that's it for All in Sports with the Raider Review.